a body kind of to stand in front for you is probably the thing you need, like that kind of tanky strength hero, like Ogre, but I don't know. Ogre 4
10
position doesn't
seconds
sound good.
remaining.
So I'm curious to see what they get as a support to pair
5
with OD,
seconds
because
remaining.
that seems to be the key to unlocking the OD's potential, is getting that really good lane.
Radiant
The
team
difference
pick.
between having like a 5-6 minute
team
meteor
pick.
hammer and like an 8 to 10 minute meteor hammer is
Ember
such a big one.
Spirit.
Ooh, okay. Well, forget about enabling the OD. They're going to look to go a different direction. They're going to look to enable Exilor and Ember Spirit for him with a Grimstroke. So the best Inkswell target, I think, in Dota. Maybe you could make an
10
argument like in the
seconds
past for
remaining.
like Ricky, but Ricky's a dead hero. So
Ricky's.
Ember Grimstroke.
5 seconds remaining.
Is that even a hero anymore? I know some people try and bring him back to the grave and play him as like a 2 or something like that, but my god, he's really out of the meta. But 100% right. We were speaking about Sillen's hero and how you can look to enable him. You go for a great pairing. You've got the Ember, which looks like an exceptional game. The ease of unlocking him down, it's not there at the moment. You do have an answer pick now from Azura, and oh, this on paper has always been one of those tricky matchups for the Ember.
Yeah, it can definitely go both ways a bit. Like it's, I think that's all the spirits. Like, well, I mean, even the Earth Spirit, I guess he's not like the mid lane, but the 3 spirits that play mid, it's like they all have control and lockdown for each other. The Ember can initiate on Storm with the root. Storm's not going to go BKB till later. At the same time, the lane itself goes well for Storm. You can keep the Ember melee hero away with the remnants. You build naturally into an Orchid, which is something that can cause Ember problems, particularly, Ember doesn't want to go Yule's ever. It's not an item that's particularly useful on Ember. So a good pick for Army Geniuses in response. And also just a hero with some mobility. Like if you see this ink swelling Ember running in at you, you want to get the hell out of there. So Storm, we'll probably have to go BKB fairly early on, maybe like even second item or at least third item. But it does seem like a good pick here that brings some more control to the table.
What do you feel like extra Spawn.496 need to bring to the table, though? Like, we've spoken a lot of how they're looking to enable Sillen, but is there any flaws that they need to try and cover now with the, I think, carry pick that's left?
Yeah, I think, do they need more stuns? Like, Clockwork and Ember might be enough for them, and the OD Meteor Hammer, they're probably doing okay there. I think they're just looking more for matchups, like what carry is going to have a good lane, as well as match up well against Storm. They have to pick, and also not have too many counters, because they're picking their carry first. So they're probably thinking what carry is going to fit our draft, and then also if there's any counters for that hero, make sure we ban them out. For now, they ban up PL, which is, I think, they don't have great illusion clear. Perhaps is probably the idea with the PL ban. Let's see, Monkey King was banned out. That's something I think would have come to mind for either team. And TB. So they're banning the illusion heroes. It seems like, just illusion clear and answers seems to be the issue. And then for Army Geniuses, they're banning these super hard carries. The Medusa, very tanky, and the AM, well, less about the hard carry potential and more about the Storm countering potential. So what will it be?
I mean,
10 seconds.
could you? Is there like any range here that's really standing out? Because you have the melee Clockwork that can kind of body you in the lane.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. A lot of those range carries. Okay, that's good, because I was thinking of the range carries like the Drows and stuff. They're kind of vulnerable and very prone to being counterpicked. I think TA is one of the safer options, because there aren't all these like obvious counterpicks to TA at this point in the carry role, at least. The ones that are annoying are the illusion heroes, which they banned out. So it seems like they actually set up this TA pick pretty nicely by banning these illusion heroes. Naga is the only other illusion hero that maybe is still in the pool and doesn't, I don't know, Naga doesn't ever feel that great.
Doesn't look the worst, honestly, with the team fight they have. But I feel like you're a melee into OD. We were speaking about how OD's got not the greatest laning matchups. It feels like often when it's a range matchup, he will really struggle.
Yeah, I'd like to see them pick a lane where they go for those kills. Like if they're going to have Weaver +1 safe lane, or even whether it's Snapfire or Weaver, the kill threat is really nice. They could theoretically want Weaver carry, but then
you may now select your
okay. All this theory crafting, and they just go with the most stock standard carry. Wraith King's just the I don't know what carry to pick. Let's just pick a Wraith King. This hero is just always solid. And they do have that kill threat. The Wraith King, I think, brings that to the table a bit with the Wraith Fire Blast. So they can pressure red before that Meteor Hammer comes up. And then when the Meteor Hammer comes up and the lane gets rough, Wraith King, he goes to the jungle. He's just standard safe carry, nothing special.
It's a lot of synergy as well in regards to the minus armor. You got Gush, Bugs, Blue Shredder, DB going to Deso. You're going to melt through Roshan. You're going to melt through heroes. You've got a couple of Agi with the TA and the Ember, but the others are going to really lack armor. We're going to have to see them look to itemize into that. Otherwise, you are going to have big issues. We've seen what Wraith King can do, which is, 1-2 hitting heroes, and it feels like it could be no different this game. I'm a bit worried on maybe how the lane's going to go. So they'll give Xiao Bonbon and Red the lane together, which feels like range melee against the Wraith King. I feel like Red is going to get more out of this lane than what he did in game one. I think that's at least a starting point for them.
Yeah, I hope so. It's still, I think the Weaver makes life tricky, but it's not impossible. Like if they can control like the vision down in that in their off lane with the sentries, it's hard for Weaver to like go running in. If he tries to Shikuchion in for some harass and he gets astraled, that could set up like a battery assault plus cogs for a kill. So it does seem like a pretty solid lane to play into what appears to be a safe lane Weaver, as Varus is going to be the one on that Weaver.
Prepare for battle.
Well, we'll see if DB is able to harvest the bones of Spawn.496 and take the series. How are we feeling though in regards to who we're going to give the little edge over to in our second game?
I'd say I'm a Geniuses. Like, I'm liking both drafts quite a bit. I think the TA was a really nice pick, but I think all in all, I'm a Geniuses. They've just done more for me with game one and how they looked, and also I think their draft is just solid, safe but solid. No real clear weaknesses to me.
Yeah, I'm a double down on that one as well. Personally, this OD hero seems, I don't know if I can say trash, because it's it's in a weird position. It's like broken, but also it's trash. So I don't know what word to put there. But I'm just.
No, you're so right though. Like, there's no in between. Like OD either looks really good or it does nothing in games. Like that to me is the issue with this hero and when it's being, and the fact that people figure it out, because it doesn't seem to be a middle ground where it just does decent but not great.
Yeah, and it's just like with so much inconsistency. When I see it first picked, I'm like, man, is that really what you're going for with this opener? So we'll see. I think Red will have a better lane, but like you were saying, I mean, a Wraith King and a Weaver are really strong laners at the moment. They're a big reason of why we're seeing both these heroes at such a rapid succession. So I think for Spawn.496, we were asking how they were going to look to enable Exilion in this game, and I think they definitely have. Giving him the Ember, even though it's not into the greatest matchup versus Azura Storm Spirit, but at least you do have as the game goes on, he can catch back up if he plays together with the Grimstroke.
Yeah, and it's it's mid lane. There's runes every like minute and a half if you look at bounty runes plus the water runes. Like, you got so much sustain. You can farm your neutral camp. Like, there's so many ways to get farm and levels that even if the lane's a bit rough, you can always go somewhere else.
Was not yours.
What's really that lane where we're keeping an eye on here for early kill? Is there one in particular?
Let's have a look. I would say top lane probably. I think just because after what happened last game, I think it was Red dying 2 or 3 times in the laning stage. Weaver, Wraith King, definitely potential for that to happen again. And also potential for Weaver, to overextend and die to like an Astral into Cogs, for example. Xiaobonbon puts down the sentry early top, and Varus is going to need to get this. This D-ward battle is pretty important to kind of dictate how this lane goes, but also, Xiaobonbon is just overcommitting.
I think he's dead here. I don't know how he gets away. Reese is like, do I get the kill or does the Wraith King get the kill? It looks like it'll be the Weaver. It's a slow, painful death. It kind of gives him hope. It's like, maybe I can escape. And then, let DB get it. Oh, he used the Red 5 blast, dude.
He used his mana. That's... The Wraith King's like, buy me 2 mangoes. Like, he's telling this Weaver, like, you better buy me some mangoes with that first blood gold. He buys a Bastard Ring. Okay, it's it's kind of mangoes, I guess. It's mana.
Oh, it's into the urn, right?
Oh, sorry, yeah, urn. Yeah, I saw. For some reason, I thought I saw Bassi. No, you're right. It's just the urn. Wow.
I guess
no mangoes. No
I guess that's not the worst thing though for him getting first blood, because a really early urn in a lane where you're expecting to get kills can be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And if honestly, it doesn't even look like Wraith King needs that. I mean, he's out of regen already, but he's not really being harassed or pressured
Mid lane,
much. Odie is
Azura.
just not this hero
He's
that
gonna
does.
get a solo kill on Exilin, I believe. He's got another overload in a couple of seconds, and this matchup coming to fruition, how difficult it is for the Ember.
Yep. Well, dream start for Army Geniuses. A first blood for their carry and a solo kill for their mid. And now a kill down bottom as well. 3 kills, 1 in each lane. All 3 of their lanes going fantastic.
Now, I mean, this is kind of what we were speaking a little bit about this lane matchup in the first draft, the Tide and the Snap fight. We didn't get to see it, unfortunately, but now in this game, Wommy, he's incredibly comfortable on the hero, and we've seen Lim. He has gone the Blight Zone with that little shredder. So if a hero is ever out of position, it feels like this hero is just no way to survive. And it's a bit awkward too, because Grimstroke really wants to be laned with someone who's going to utilize that ink swell, because how strong of a laner she is, and the kill threat that you can have. But I mean, a TA, yeah, that's not a great pairing at all.
Yeah. Excellent, trying to get some revenge mid. Weaver has to TP mid for the bottle refill and to kind of bail him out. It was a nice glyph, putting pressure on him under the tower with the full creep wave. But in the end, Storm going to be A-okay. Can refill that bottle with some runes. But
they are actually going in. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon about the matchup, but Wommy just tanks through the damage, turns it back around before the death. He's like, you think you can kill me, brother? And now simultaneously, Varese is solo killing Jarbonbon, so look at it try. Oh, no, he really wanted that urn charges there from the kill. That would have been huge.
yeah, getting it this early on, but instead he's going to go sneak in and take the bounty rune for himself, so get some gold for his team. But not quite the outcome he was hoping for. Earlier in charges can be such a game changer. Getting that, just extra damage for all your ganks can feel so nice when, Weaver, you've got that 1-1-1 skill build. You're such an early game centric hero, and then having an earn charge to do like an extra 150 or so damage when you're ganking a hero is huge.
Looks like another game though that's sitting very comfortable for Army Genius with how the lanes are looking. When you got an early 1,000 net worth lead, and more importantly, DB is just loving life up top. 24-11. And do you feel like this is a game where if Wraithkin gets free farm, it's almost guaranteed, or are some of the matchups able to contest him?
I would say it feels pretty good. I think the one hero that can become a bit problematic late game is going to be the Ember Spirit. Like this farmed Ember, we've seen a couple of these SEA Ember players, like when they get late game and have the survivability from like BKB or whatever it may be, plus the Ag Scepter, just using those remnants everywhere. Whoa, kill down bottom.
Supports were... They were smoked up trying to connect to the TA, but a little bit too late, unfortunately, and... Oh, they're going to try and battle against Wommy and Lim. Looks like with the Ink Sword pairing, that's enough to get a nice retribution kill, but again, it costs you the life at TA.
Yeah, doesn't feel worth it if you're Spawn.496. You really need to try enable your cores at this point in the game. TA had been farming well in lane, but those deaths, anything that kind of delays your farm and your item progression, not going to feel good at all.
Dire's top tower.
I mean, this matchup's already not good for the Ember Spirit. That's twice now we've seen TP rotations to refill the bottle, and now he's got plenty of mana to work with to get rid of Scylla, and second death. Already we're seeing the matchup continue to be more and more difficult. Bottom though, Omi's got a little bit of a nook in the tree line. So Ohio and Jarbonbon, the support duo, are going to do what they can to bring Spawn.496 back into a respectable position to contest in this second game, as they'll chase down Wommy, or will they? FaZe extra movement speed. He's going to try and block them off with the Iron Branch. No way Wommy gets out. He can't juke the Stroke of Fate though.
If he had juked that, he may have actually lived. He had the phase boots up for a second time. It was very close to getting out. But just biding more time where TA wasn't hitting creeps, maybe you missed the last hit or two. All these little things adding up, and Army
Red's
Genius
dead up top.
focus elsewhere.
Nice
Yep.
rotation. Azura backstabbing, picking up the bounty rune. I mean, Bonbon's got to be pretty cautious too. They might dive under the tower. They got a lot of skeletons. Azura.
Or even just doing some good damage to this tower. Oh, big creep wave coming in. This feels like the issue with the OD off lane. I mean, again, this is the time of the game where OD is, you know, weakest.
Oh, this tower's gone. Wow.
Whew. Not usually the tower that goes down. Usually it's the rotations to the off lane to take that tier 1 tower. But with all those skeletons keeping the creep wave back and the storm showing up, they get themselves a tower. OD losing. Usually he's the one taking towers in his lane, but before the Meteor Hammer, just feeling mighty weak.
I mean, this just goes back to what we were saying before. The hero is either completely broken or, I mean, in the dumps. And Army Geniuses have put him there once again.
Yep. The game can definitely swing back. When this Meteor Hammer comes up, you start getting that playmaking potential, but it feels like Spawn.496, like they're not getting the levels they need. Like their supports are under leveled. They're level 4 only. Not going to see any level 6s anytime soon.
It's where they're going to try and hit back.
Yeah.
Diving?
Nice cookie mid.
Yeah, it really nicely played from Lim. And now DP with this early rotation. You wouldn't really expect a Wraith King, but because the fact that he doesn't need to be top with the lane already claimed, he's able to provide some assistance. And that's how Radiant need to play, just off the back of really Clockwork, Grimstroke, and Ember. Even though Ember's had a bit rougher over time, he can still play together with these two supports to provide damage from afar.
Yeah. That's kind of demoralizing, though. That was like a let's dive and kill this support, and then you just get outplayed as he cookies a creep onto 2 of you for a double hero stun, jukes you, and then you lose. I mean, you don't lose the mid, but you still lose a hero when you're the ones instigating and making the initiation. So not going to feel good at all as things continue to look kind of poor for Spawn.496. And if they lose this bottom tier 1 tower, a second tower this early on, this game can quickly get out of hand.
Yeah, they're not going to let that happen. DD on Sillin, red rotating down. They're going to have all 5 heroes for the defense. Army Geniuses. Let's see how they can combat this. Ultimate at the ready for Wommy. Are they just going to walk out to safety? They might just do that. They've got Cookie as well to reposition. Does Wommy want to find the angle into the team fight, though? He's got Ravage at the ready. They need to prevent the Meteor Hammer. They're not able to do so fast enough. They've dropped care of the Tide Hunts up, and now with Zero getting involved too. He's got to be cautious. Mana getting drained. Health soon to fall as well, as Sillin diving deep under the tower to secure the kill. As Spawn.496, a successful defense will be transitioned into some extra kills as they deal with the reincarnation and the damage. I mean, it might be a bit lacking now with the mana slowly being drained apart, but DB, there's no escape here. As the boys on Radiant can continue to chase them down one after the other.
Under attack.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. This is, I think, a really good decision to try to take these fights at this stage. And they have no items at all on Spawn.496. Like, this Ember is playing with Brown Boots Bottle and a 1. Grimstroke level 5.
Oh, Ravage from Wommy. Look at the combination. Setting up for the kisses. It should be enough to get Xiao Bonbon on the backline. Wommy just needs one more smash. Sillin's trying to do his dirty work to get the kill on Limp, but he's going to be cautious. I mean, you've not committed too far for the kill, and it looks like there might not be escape mechanism as Azura snags the kill.
Yeah, it just feels like, you know, they make a nice play and they get themselves caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They're just overstaying their welcome, going for more. Like, it was such a nice fight before that where they really understood how strong they were with this Inkswell fighting around the Ember Spirit and his Max Slider Fist. Even without the items and the lanes going poorly, they managed to really sync up nicely in that bottom lane. But then, you know, losing the Ember and slowing his item progression further, it just hurts for Spawn.496 to not have that clean exit after winning a fight.
I guess it... Oh, Xiao Bonbon. Oh, they've caught out Wommy once again. The power that Red's able to show, if he can combine up with the Clockwork to set up for the Meteor, but a little bit off the timing there. Wommy, however, it's just going to be a slow death afterwards. The team will use this space to get whatever little farm they can across the map.
Yeah, they're continuing to farm well. 2k gold lead. Even when they're losing heroes, they're making sure they kind of still prioritize just the economy factor with DB on that Wraith King doing
Dire's
well, as
structures
is the
are
Storm.
fortified.
Speaking of Storm, Azur's going to be a little bit careful in this mid lane. Double null with the
Dire's
Sage's
middle
Mask. We'll
tower
see which
is
way
under
he wants to
attack.
go with the itemization if he does commit to that first item Orchid. You do feel pretty squishy on Storm with Orchid Rush only, but maybe that's partly why he bought these null talismans.
Seal him. They're back to safety.
What I miss?
So got a couple more remnants to play around with here.
Yeah. So Ember gets away from that gank, and for Army Geniuses, they're probably just trying to time up their next big ulti combo, the Ravage plus Kisses.
Stupendous.
It's online once again in 10 seconds, so really, Spawn.496 have to be ready for that, or have have a counterplay in mind, or just avoid any kind of a fight and play the kind of the farm game on the map.
And GoDz has been getting a decent amount of farm across the map as Variz sidesteps the hookshot, but I mean, look how much space he's providing at the moment. These 5 heroes that are up and around top.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Weaver is definitely doing his job.
Yeah, I think he's fine with this. His team utilizing the space elsewhere on the map. Interestingly, Tide has a Yule Scepter queued up. Yes. I don't know, wanting some way to get out of some of these annoying spells like the Ember Roots and stuff.
Dire's top tower is under
Bit of a
attack.
different item pickup coming from him.
Side looking to make their way top. Smoke is multiple heroes. It's going to be Azura to try and get in the midst of it all. It's Red. Well, he's got no heroes in the backline here, so a quick and easy 1-2 punch as they blow up the outward Devour, and back to farming Spawn.496 go.
Radiant's middle tower
Varus
is
even
under
avoids
attack.
the gank mid. They knew he was alone after the play up top, so as soon as they lose OD top, they're already, 496 is like, okay, they're showing top, let's go
Radiant's
hunt mid, but
bottom tower
Weaver
is
doing a
under
good
attack.
job avoiding any kind of initiation coming in from 496. All of this while DB farming away on the Wraith King. Same story for the TA though, so both carries, having their kind of free farm games.
Gonna pogo stick on the higher ground to give the vision to catch out Lim. It's a nice target, exactly who you want to find to get rid of a lot of the burst potential to combine with the Ravage, but looks like the rest of Spawn.496 not really on the same page to dive that deep.
Dire's
Yeah, they're
top
just kind
tower is
of
under
baiting them
attack.
in, outmaneuvering them. And 496 getting a little too kill thirsty. I think they need to recognize, OD's kind of playing back. TA is just, doing TA things, farming Ancients, farming stacks. TA does need to be kind of thinking about
Dire's
her
top
timings
tower
and when
has been
she can
denied.
get involved, because having both Dragonlance and the Falcon Blade, these two kind of smaller items that do still cost a decent amount of money, will slow down any kind of Deso, Blink Dagger, these mid-game items that allow you to take objectives, take Rosh, and even take good fights. Like the BKB2 also going to be a necessary item at some point in this game.
Yeah, how do you feel about this Falcon Blade on TA? Is it another just smaller item that she wasn't requiring?
Yeah, I don't love it, but I'm also not a big TA player. I imagine the reason is that the mid TA, you have the bottle for sustain. Perhaps safe lane TA, you just don't, you're going to fall back to the jungle at some point and farm stacks and stuff. Maybe TA just has mana problems without the Falcon Blade.
Sure.
That would be my best guess. And it gives you lots of, health is good, damage, mana regen, everything this item gives you is good on TA. There's just, a limit to how many of these small items you can get. One, they clog up your inventory in the mid to late game and you end up selling them. And two, they just slow down, your key item timings. The Deso, the BKB, these items that really, win you the game.
Yeah, we, at least the games I've casted in Div 2, we haven't seen as much of the Templar Assassin played as a 1, so
Radiant's bottom
I wasn't
tower
sure,
is
like you
under
said, if this
attack.
is a thing where you need that mana sustain without having the bottle to play with. Radiant setting up a Breeze at the moment. We do see the awkwardness they have to start fights. It's either off the back of the hook shot, or it's going to be Ember committing with the ink swell behind him. Breeze on the higher ground. Zero's going to zip on in. Snags the Arcane out to safety. It's a farm battle right now.
And to me, that favors Army Geniuses. They're just farming a bit more efficiently, getting a bigger and bigger lead. From 2k up to 3k gold lead now. And as far as scaling goes, like their cores in this late game with the Storm and Wraith King just look a bit more potent. This the TA taking some time to kind of come online, as we kind of just talked about with the smaller items, and I think for 496 they need to kind of prioritize what they can do in this kind of around 20 to 25 minute mark, like utilizing the strength of this Ember with the Inkswell. They can't just kind of sit back and play this passive game.
This is the one nice thing though for Spawn.496 that they Deso completed on Ghost. You are on Radiant, so if you're able to take a team fight, and you can easily maneuver yourself into the Roche pit, hit back, get that Aegis advantage, and then all of a sudden, maybe you're in a position where you can start to contest Army Geniuses throughout the mid game. But I mean, saying that, Dire can do the exact same thing. They have so much minus armor just to move in with ease.
Yep. Any fight they win, it probably just sets up Roche. Dire's scanning it, like both teams keeping tabs of it, knowing it's an objective that either team would want. TA drafts all about Aegis. Storm, best Aegis carrying the game. Same time, the Storm has to be a little bit careful at this point. The Orchid Rush is a build where you can kind of feel like maybe a little bit vulnerable, a bit squishy. We've seen, the Storms I've seen as of late are going less Orchid. With that said, I think into the Ember Spirit, Orchid, great item pickup.
Radiant. Gonna have to go up against the smoke and the timings that Dire have. Deso, along with the Orchid. They'll miss the hook shot. They need to get rid of the Phantoms of Raze to combine with the Ravage, but they're all grouped up. And once the Tide unleashes the ultimate, there's no escape for the grasping hands of Army Geniuses. It's 4 down, almost identical to what we saw in the previous game by this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's just deja vu. This Ravage plus Kisses combo. It's different player on the Tidehunter this time around, but it's the same result. Big team fights being won by Army Geniuses. It sets them up to go into the Roshan pit. Now Storm will happily be able to claim himself an Aegis. They'll have 2 lives on Wraith King, 2 lives on Storm, and this puts 496 in such a rough spot.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's minus armor, stuns, team fight, and timings that Army Geniuses are using to their advantage. And for Radiant, we're not seeing this come into play. I mean, Zhao Bonbon's working on the Orchid. We saw the Clockwork and Grimstroke have some... Hold that thought, as Clockwork just pretty much gets 2 hit from DB. What a fun hero to verse when he free farms. Jesus Christ. He's got to one-hit someone this game. Multiple times, I think, with all their minus armor.
Yeah, it feels like it's coming. As for 496, I don't know how they respond to deal with that. Like, their mid game, again, I don't want to harp on the OD too much, but like when you're on the back foot, this is not a hero you feel good about having. There's just no middle ground. This hero's either owning the lane and getting Meteor Hammer and taking towers, or just playing on the back foot and doing absolutely nothing. And doing absolutely nothing is maybe unfair, but you turn into this like save only hero that's just useful for your astral save, and like when you're playing as a core, that's just not good enough. Whew. Nice kill mid. Ember going down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
You're 100% right. Like, if you're in a position where you're this save only hero as a core, why are you really picking the hero? You need to provide something else as the game goes on, and when you have this rough of a performance, that's all you can really add to the team. Maybe shoving out some of the side lanes that Red's trying to do at the moment. But the thing is that Dire also have such easy ways to D-push with someone like the Weaver or the Snapfire, so any split pushing shenanigans OD is doing is just instantly answered.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not like this. It's not the safe split pushing hero. Some of these heroes you can send off and they push with either summons or can push by using long range spells. That's just not OD.
Bottom lane, they found out Ghost in front of the tier 3 tower, and the rest of the team is just setting up for a further team fight to break out. But now without the Templar Assassin and Wami, I mean, what a ravage, time after time, multiple heroes getting clipped by the big ultimate, as they just cannot combat what Army Geniuses have drafted in this second game.
There's a snag in their plans indeed. To the high ground we go. Army Geniuses They smell blood in the water. They want to close this one out. They've already taken game 1, and they're looking to get a first lane of Rax here in game 2. Fighting for survival in Division 2. And they're the ones who appear to be striking first here in game number 2.
With a 13,000 net worth lead, and definitely the silver lining for Radiant was the fact that Ghost was still farming really well, second in net worth after that death, and without the BKB, we're just not going to see him join these fights until then. So the fact that get TA and then double back, get a huge team fight victory, and then all these objectives, it's just all Army geniuses. And I mean, in a game like this, again, like you said, this is a match to eliminate Spawn.496 from Division 2. So it's going to be a lot of confidence. Army geniuses, they're a team that play off the back of confidence. We've always come to love their interviews and how upbeat they are, especially with their previous roster, and it feels like it's kind of the identity of the team. And when you're this far ahead, you got to be feeling happy.
Oh yeah, this is very much a momentum game, a momentum series. They're controlling the map, keeping all these lanes pushed out, and when you're the ones playing against TA on the other side, this is going to feel so good. You know this TA is going to be like feeling useless when you can't leave the base. Playing TA without Aegis and into Aegis, this Hero's entire game plan is
I mean, it's the last ditch attempt almost, and they're going to miss the hookshot to start. One is the target as Azura is going to look to charge on 4 to deal with the Templar Assassin. They've Asheron him up at the moment. TA popping out with the BKB. They're trying to target down Azura, but of course, he has the Aegis to work with throughout the team fight. With round 2, Red, he's got the opportunity to set up for the Meteor Hammer without the extra burst from the Sanities, the lack the damage to get rid of the Storm Spirit, and our Army geniuses can go back in afterwards. 3 down, soon to be 4, make it a team wipe, and that might just be all she wrote.
Yeah, not sure they'll GG out just because of the importance of this series and what's at stake. Being eliminated from the SE, it's relegation, but it's also like potential elimination. Like they've got to re-qualify next tour. It's not like, Division 1 teams who finish bottom 2, you're still guaranteed a slot in Division 2. For these teams, they may not, the loser of this series may not be in the DPC anymore when it comes to the next tour. And 2 full lanes of Rax claim, Spawn.496. They're going to need something miraculous to turn this game around now.
That is the beautiful thing about Dota, though. Yeah, it does feel like anything can happen in games. Again, we're on the copium, but you're this far behind. You need some angle back in, and it can honestly be sometimes just the enemy team getting too ahead of themselves. Playing off the momentum, playing off the hype. You dive onto tier 4 towers, you got buyback, somehow they throw, you're back into this game, and I don't know, they're hoping for something.
You're really breathing in there.
I'm trying.
Bringing me back to, the Medusa game. I was like, this is some mild. Right now, we're in a pretty severe case of the old copium. This game is slipping away quick. The comeback potential for a TA draft is always very limited. They don't have that Medusa type hero, but we'll see if, like you say, it does rely on your opponents a bit, making that slip up, getting over aggressive, overconfident. Something that we just haven't really seen from Army geniuses in this series at all, which is where it feels so hard to get back into this one.
Oh, I hope they found out. Oh yeah, Bonbon, you need every single hero if you're gonna have some way to bring yourselves back in. I mean, they've even caught out Red as well. That's probably more of a valuable target to bring down, as DB's gonna jump, 4 hitting Silen, no Ember Spirit, no Templar Assassin as Wommy on top of the TA, Ravage committed, Gz dropped, and Army geniuses will live to see another tour in the DPC Division 2.
Yeah. They've become a staple of the SEA Dota scene. Like, they're kind of like this solid, consistent, solidified tier 2 team. Like, they're not on that level of the Fanatics, the Booms, the the T1, of course, even Division 1, even like the teams who are at those teams' heels, like teams like SMG who are finishing in the top 4. Army Genius is on the level of those teams, but they're a consistent force. They go through a few roster shakeups every now and then, but they show they can produce some pretty consistent results. This was one of their, worst seasons. They did almost face elimination, relegation in this tiebreaker, but they got through. They made it out. They're still in the SEA DPC league.
They still are indeed. We're gonna try and get a quick interview with the boys. We want to see how hyped they are. That's the important thing. We'll see if we can get someone in fast enough. But I mean, like you said, Army Geniuses, it was a rough season. They struggled overall, but the fact that they're still kicking as this new roster, they haven't been together for too long. It's going to give them a lot of experience, more time just to work on these little things.
Yep, absolutely. And, I think they're definitely showing some good potential and even star power at times on some of their players. I like what we see from Azura particularly. He seems like a really hungry, try hard kind of mid player who's just grinding it out, has a lot of these heroes, but he's like very super high Dota plus level on, so he's spamming pubs. He's really trying to break out here in the pro scene, and I think that he is a player that can really build around. DB is just a very solid, stable carry player. Has this versatile hero pool, so I think they've got the right pieces to keep improving and growing as a team, and to become maybe a team that at least competes for top 2 next season if they continue to improve. I wouldn't say they're going to be favorites, but to me, I don't see them being like 7th place again or 6th, 7th place in the following tour. I think they're going to see some improvement and finish higher up on the standings.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a team as well that grinds the heck out of Dota, whereas third-party tournaments, scrims, from what I've heard, they're always in the scrim chat asking for anyone that's looking to play Dota. They're just boys that are incredibly hungry, and it's going to give them a big boost, though. I mean, we're gonna hear them as well into the interview. Hopefully, we get one, of course. Unfortunately, we won't have their video, but it's still nonetheless we get to hear their excitement. And real quick, of course, before we do have that, a big shout out to Mate as well for making this tour possible. We do have still another tiebreaker for Division 2, but at least for today and this series in particular, if you guys are looking for to pick up some Mate, just which is caffeine reimagined and more day, more night, you can head over to bts.gg/mate. Using the code BTSDOTA will get you 10% off. I mean, it definitely gave Army Geniuses the power to be able to take this series in pretty convincing fashion. I know both times we were favoring their draft pretty heavily, and it looks like they were able to utilize that, come out on top, and for them, a beautiful series overall. Unfortunately, we have not gotten a response, so no interview for the boys over on Army Geniuses. But again, a huge congratulations for them. I know you have... Oh, never mind. Potentially, we might have one, but I don't know what's going on. We're getting a little bit teased. We got one, we don't. I got a response. Okay, so we'll do a quick interview because I know you jump on over real quick. So I'll bring Variz in.
Sounds good.
Hello, Variz. Can you hear us first off?
Yeah, hello.
I can hear. I have to say, I mean, how are the boys feeling? You've just secured your position for Division 2 for the next tour. What's the mentality right now in the camp?
Yeah, of course, everyone is happy because we still on the Division 2. Yeah, we just feeling great right now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys looked exceptional as well with how you were able to cement a draft and also be able to execute off the back of that. We've seen previous Army Geniuses rosters really be, upbeat and always, super high tempo and very friendly. Is this any different with the new roster?
Yeah, I think with this roster now, we play kinda different. We play a little bit slower. Yeah, but yeah, I think we just get used to it to play slower.
Parker, have you
I wanted to
got any
ask,
questions?
Yeah. I want to ask. I mean, coming into a series like this where you're fighting for relegation,
Yeah.
you know, what was like kind of the, you know, emotions coming in? Were you guys like feeling really nervous? Was it calmness? Like, how do you prepare and deal with those emotions?
Mm, we don't. I don't know. I mean, we don't feel like nervous or something. We just do our best for this match because like what our coach said is like no matter we win or lose this match, we will learn. So yeah, we just do our best on this match.
Great. And as far as looking towards the next tour, what do you feel like? What's the plan as far as improving as a team? Are there certain areas of your game that you feel like you need to focus on the most to get better as a team?
I think we need to get more discipline. Yeah, for me right now we kinda not disciplined. Yeah, that's the only thing I think.
Great. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I do have to clarify. How is the proper pronunciation of your name?
Faris, I think.
Okay.
Faris.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Congratulations
thanks.
once again, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I mean, there
Thank
we go.
you very much.
Parker, we heard it. I mean, the mentality from the coach was, I felt like a big factor here. It doesn't matter win or lose. We're here to learn. And I mean, that they did. They learned. I mean, a win, and we'll see how much they're able to take off the back of that and just the entire DP season overall. But we're going to say goodbye to us tonight. We will have for some more series going on in Division 1. We've got the boys over on OB Neon taking on Motivate Trust, which is another really important series as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think OB Neon have to win, or they get relegated to Division 2. And if they win, it'll be a three-way tie. So Motivate Trust want to avoid those tiebreakers. They could potentially be the team getting knocked down. So they need to win to avoid tiebreakers, and Neon need to win to avoid guaranteed elimination. So a lot at stake in that Division 1 series.
Yeah, a lot on the line tonight over in Division 1. To keep you guys reminded as well, we will have more tiebreaker matchups with Ragdoll and Enigma Galaxy C. We've got to determine who's the second team that will be promoted to Division 1 in the next tour. But for us tonight, that's going to be all she wrote for Division 2. We'll see you guys shortly. The stream will go down, but once it's back up, we've got another series for Division 1 kicking off.